Hi folks, I wanted to do a quick video on how to speed up backtesting of strategies using a tool that I was referred to by Cryptonighter on Discord. And what this tool does, it allows you to speed up the backtesting process of strategies, which is very manual normally, as there may be lots of different settings that you need to try, and it could take dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours to go through all of them and so on. This tool called the Optimiser is a Google Chrome extension that also works in Microsoft Edge. It is completely free. It does require you to run TradingView in a web browser so it can manipulate the various settings, but that's pretty much the only restriction. I will include the link to this tool in the video description so that you can install it in your browser. What this tool does, it scans through all the possible settings that are available in a strategy, gives you a list, and you can choose which settings you want to backtest and in what increments and what changes. You can run many different cycles or variations of those settings to find out the most optimal settings for the strategy that you happen to be using. I already have the Optimiser installed, so I have a remove button, but if you didn't have it installed, you would have an add or install button here that you would be able to use to install it in your browser. I'm going to switch to my TradingView in a web browser screen. I have my 30-second bot strategy here enabled. You could see the basic results. Right now, as a strategy is configured without any further settings, in regular backtesting, it has a profit of 7,800, drawdown of 7,500 with a 56% profitability and just under 2R risk to reward. What I'm going to do is I am going to go to my extensions and I'm going to open the Optimiser extension that I've installed. These are the settings that are available. Now, when you're doing the optimization, you can optimize for any particular value. You could look for net profit, you can optimize per percentage, you could optimize for smallest drawdown, and all of those types of things. In my case, I'm just gonna, for the sake of this demo, I'm gonna keep it simple and optimize it for the total profit. I have three methods that are available. So random is usually a good place to start. The strategy will randomly pick various settings, hoping it stumbles across something that is going to work. You can use sequential, so it'll go one setting at a time until it exhausts all the possible values and switch to the next setting and so on. Could be good if you're testing a small number of values. You can do annealing, which tries to first at random to find a setting that is good, and then keeping that setting tries to tweak the other setting, trying to optimize values further or increasing that particular setting. This is probably a good setting to use once you found a base configuration that is good and you want to tweak it. When you're starting random or all random is really a good place to start. Or if you're going to do a lot of iterations over a single setting, then using sequential is the best way to go. Once you've checked your options, and I'm just going to do random, you click test strategy. And what it does is it opens up the strategy and scans automatically through all of the different settings. Now, my strategy has a lot of different settings. Just the settings that are selected, and I have 6 settings selected here, would be over almost 11 million variations. That'll take way too long to test. I'm going to limit it to just a couple of different settings to find some values. In my case, I'm going to do the right and left sensitivity. That's only 154 variations as stated, so you can actually run through all of them in a span of a minute. In this configuration, you could see there's a from and a to value. So this is the range it's going to test. Then you have a step. A step could be something 2, so it's going to go in increments of 2, or it can be 1. And you can even use fractions if it's applicable in that particular setting. In my case, I'm going to switch it to go 1 by 1. So it's going to check the right swing from 7 to 34 and the left swing from 7 to 28. As you can see, because I've decreased the step, now I have a lot more possible cycles. I have over 600 cycles to go through. Now, that would be way too long for the purposes of this demonstration, which I'm trying to record. So I'm going to increase it to step of 3 on both sides. Still a little bit too too large. There we go. So it's 80. Still probably a bit too large for the demos. I'm going to go an increment of 5. So 30 cycles, which is quite reasonable. So we're going to run all of them. And once I'm happy with the settings, I'm going to click on Save and Run. Now it is going to find the initial settings, which is going to use as a baseline. And it's going to then scan through all the possible variations, trying to find most optimal values. And you can see here the progress that it's doing and the result of the individual settings that it obtains. And it's trying to beat 68.95 overall net profit, which it ran with the default settings to get the best result. This will take a few minutes, but as you can see, it's moving quite fast, certainly a lot faster than I would be able to do it manually, and is a huge time saver in terms of validating the various settings or trying to find the optimal configuration values that you have. As you can tell from this confirmation message, it ran through all the 30 possible variations. It was not able to find the most optimal result, which is not surprising because these are already optimized results, and I really gave it a very limited subset of values to manipulate in order to obtain the value. But it's still good for demonstrative purposes to show what it can do. Now, you'll notice also automatically gives you a CSV file containing all of the outcomes. This is this particular file right here. You could see the results of every single run. Then you can then try to analyze them manually and maybe try to find something close to a good result and use that as a basis of fine-tuning things further. And on the far side of the Excel spreadsheet, it also contains all of the values for the configuration that starts with 2 underscores. All of the columns from here on are the actual settings. And you could see in the comments actually what it changed in terms of the default value to the new value that it was testing. Gives you all the possible data that you would need in order to figure out which outcomes are good and which outcomes perhaps require a little bit more work.